So there's this new meme coin out there, but forget to the moon. This one's different. It's not launching with a bunch of hype. Instead, it's asking its community to solve a puzzle first. This whole project kicked off with a mysterious document and a hidden challenge that has crypto sleuths everywhere racing to crack the code. Let's break down the CrashOut Memefesto.
So check this out. Right at the very top of this document they're calling the Memefesto, you find this line. And it's not just some fancy poetry, it's a puzzle. The community immediately zeroed in on the words seed and key, believing it's a clue to a hidden seed phrase, the master password to a crypto wallet that could be holding a fortune. And just like that, this one sentence kicks off a massive online treasure hunt.
Which brings us to the big question, right? Could there really be a crypto fortune hidden inside a meme coin manifesto? Well, that's what we're here to find out. This is the story of CrashOut, a project that's part meme coin, part philosophical rant, and part cryptographic puzzle all rolled into one. Okay, let's get into it. The project is called CrashOut. It was launched on Pump.fun, that platform for rapid-fire meme coin creation, by this mysterious group that calls themselves MemePundits. And the entire project really centers on this one document, which isn't some technical white paper. No, it's a raw, unfiltered declaration of frustration.
Yeah, they're making a huge claim, saying this is the biggest, most organic meme coin launch in history. That's a bold statement in a space that's usually driven by insider deals and manufactured hype. So, what does organic even mean here? Well, it seems to mean they're skipping the big money, the venture capitalists, the pre-sales. They're banking purely on the strength of their message and the mystery of that hidden puzzle to draw people in.
But to really get the message, you've got to meet the supposed author of this whole thing, the project's mascot, and I guess it's spiritual guide.
And wow, this mascot just perfectly captures the project's cynical heart. See, Brokie the bear isn't your typical roaring bull. Nah, he's a sad, crying investor. And his rocket, that ultimate symbol of crypto getting rich, is completely shattered. It's just a blatant, hilarious parody of the whole to-the-moon optimism, and it really reflects the burnout so many investors are feeling.
So what's with all the doom and gloom? Why all the cynicism? Well, this Memefesto, when you really get down to it, it's just this raw expression of anger and resentment from a generation that feels like it's been completely left behind. The whole thing kicks off by setting up this really painful contrast. The future they were promised versus the economic reality they actually got. And then it just dives into this raw list of what it feels like to be young today. We're talking about wages that never, ever keep up with inflation, watching your grocery bill just climb and climb, and feeling totally crushed by student debt while corporations are posting these record profits. It's this feeling of being completely stuck. And then the Memefesto starts hitting you with these hard numbers. And the first one is a real gut punch: $500,000. It frames this as the new barrier to entry for the dream of homeownership, a figure that just feels almost impossible for a generation that's already drowning in other debts. And hey, if you can't afford to buy, what are you going to do? You're forced to rent. So the document hits you with another number, $2,000 a month. It just paints this bleak picture of a generation that's trapped, paying off someone else's mortgage with zero hope of building their own equity. From there, the anger just explodes, shifting from personal money problems to this full-blown attack on what the author calls a rigged system. The manifesto points fingers directly at politicians, a phony stock market, and the boomer generation, accusing them of gutting institutions like Social Security for their own gain. And this quote, this one just perfectly captures that feeling of being gaslit that runs through the entire document. It really highlights the frustration of being given this patronizing, totally useless advice when you're facing these huge systemic economic problems that a daily latte has absolutely nothing to do with. So, okay, you're faced with a system you believe is totally broken, completely rigged against you. What's the solution? This is where the project takes a really sharp, radical turn. First off, what is a Memefesto? Well, think of it like a public declaration, but it's delivered in the native language of the internet. Pure sarcasm, inside jokes, and a whole lot of cynicism. It's basically a political manifesto disguised as one giant, angry meme. This right here, this slide really gets to the heart of the whole philosophy. On one side, you've got the old crypto promises, right? To the moon, we're in a super cycle, long-term bullish. And on the other, you get the crash out reality. Laugh while it all burns, meme it harder, let's take it all down with us. It is a complete rejection of optimism, and it's replaced with this defiant, almost joyful nihilism.
But here's the thing, it's not just about individuals trying to profit from chaos. The real goal here is to build a community, a whole movement, around this shared feeling of disillusionment.
And this is really the key takeaway. The CrashOut token, it's not an investment in some new groundbreaking technology. Nope, it's a collective bet on cynicism itself. It's a community basically saying, you know what? The game is rigged, so we're not going to play by those old rules anymore. We're just going to embrace the absurdity and make it our own.
Which, of course, leaves us with a pretty fascinating question. Is a project like CrashOut just a nihilistic joke, or is it something more? Could this wild mix of finance, memes, and pure anger actually be a new form of digital protest? A protest from a generation that feels like it has absolutely nothing left to lose? Whatever the answer is, the Memefesto ends on this incredibly powerful, unifying call to arms. It's a declaration that in a system they feel is designed for them to fail, they're going to choose to fail on their own terms, together. And honestly, in the crazy world of crypto, that might just be the most brilliant piece of marketing I've ever seen.